Excel formulas and function, formulas and functions. We have this Excel worksheet or workbook rather, and we have different worksheets that we're going to go through and do some calculations using some Excel formulas and Excel functions. So let me start from the sheet 1, the introduction sheet. We're going to do summation here. Summation, and we have various ways of doing our summation. I can decide to do summation. I say equals to, I can say this is cell reference C3. So I can say C3 plus C4 plus C5 and so on till 614. Then at the end of the day, I just did for 3, C3, C4, C5, and then we have this result 65. But that's not what we want to do. We don't want to do it individually. I'm just showing that we can do it individually. Another way you can do it is to do the summation. So how many Samsung phone did we sell for this particular year, January to December? That will be sum of C3 colon C20 or C14. So it's picking it from C3 to C14. I close my bracket, I click on enter, and I have results. So a total of 234 Samsung was sold. So I can do the same calculation for iPhone, Techno. So going by them saying D3 to D14, but I won't do that because Excel have a smart way of auto calculating the remaining of the cell at the total row. So what I do is I just go to where I have my first calculation, go to the edge, my cursor have changed, then I drag. Once I drag, it automatically calculates for D3 to D14. The same here, it automatically calculates from E3 to E14, and the same thing here, it automatically calculates for F3 to F14, and we have their different results. So for that year, we can say we discovered that with Redmi, we sold more Redmi than any other brand. So we sold more Redmi, followed by I think iPhone, then followed by Samsung, then Techno is the least sold for the year. Now that's for calculating how many Samsung, iPhone, Techno, Redmi that we sold. But I want to look at what is my total January sales, everything together. Sometimes we might need this data. How many items did we actually sell in January? So here also we can do the summation, but I don't want to use that the formula I use here, sum. We have the summation wizard. You can see the auto sum here, and by the side we have a drop down menu where you can we can do auto average, auto count, auto max, auto. So everything auto here. We have more functions here, so I can do that, or I can get it from formulas bar. I go to auto sum. So immediately I click on auto sum, it suggests it for me, and if that's what I want to capture, that is from C3 to F3, that's okay. I click on OK, and I have my result. So instead of typing the equals to sum, I just go, let me clean it, I go again, auto summation. Once you are in the cell that you want to, you ensure you click on the cell you want to do the calculation in, then you click on auto sum. That's good, you are good. Now you can auto fill like I did here. I can come and drag, but at the horizontal line, Ctrl Z, I'm doing it on the horizontal line. I can decide to on the vertical, once I come to the edge, my cursor sign have changed, I double clicked and it auto sum everything for me. So I have it from January to December, and we have different numbers, and we discover that we've sold, I think, the maximum here. I can quickly do the maximum. So what's the maximum sold here? So it's going to be from equals to max or sorry, yeah, max, what's the maximum number sold? And I think it should be 99. I can say max, that would be G3. We are going to do C maximum to, so what's the maximum from G3 to G14? I close my bracket and I have 99, which is this. I sold more December, maybe for people are giving gifts. Yeah, so you can get your minimum. Like I said, we're going to see that. That's another way of summing. Do you have another way? You can use the sum wizard. So let me say I want to clear this. So instead of using the auto sum, I can decide to use the wizard by going from, if I'm home, I come to formulas. From formulas bar, I click on this insert function. So I click on insert function and I have different functions here, and I have the sum function as part of the list. I click on OK. But now it's going to be suggesting for me from C3 to F3. Am I good? I think I should put the, yeah, I'm good. So that's what you can do again. Let's go again. I click on insert. I say I want to do the summation. It's on the sum. This is the wizard. I click on OK. So it's giving me from C3 to F3. I said I'm good. So I have my 93 back. Then I can double click to autofill. So this is the sum function. Different ways of adding up things. Now let's move to the next. We have the order of operation. The order of operation here in Nigeria we use BODMAS, and somewhere else in the world they use PEDMAS. It basically means the same thing. That means the order calculation. If you are calculating, you have brackets. Anything in bracket is calculated first. Then orders or indices. Orders could include square roots or powers. The same thing with indices here, and any other operation that is different from division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Multiplication, division and multiplication carries equal weight. Addition and subtraction carries equal weight. So what we mean is division is not bigger than multiplication, and also addition is not bigger than subtraction. The only thing we do here is we work from left to right. What we see from at the left will be the one we solved first before. But division and multiplication are bigger than addition. They have more order than addition and subtraction. And I think if I can come up with an example here, I can say this plus 7 plus equals to 7 plus 5 multiplied by 2. And this is giving us 17. Why? I think is first, instead of working from left to right, multiplication has bigger order than addition. So first thing first, the example first do 5 times 2. Then you will now add, we are going to get 10 here. 10 plus 7, we're going to get 17. And that's why we have 17 as our answer. Okay. So I say plus 5 times 2. That's why we're having 17 as our answer. But if you should do the I said I have 7 plus 5 times 2 times 2. Now, if I should introduce brackets between 7 and 5, or at the edge of 7 and 5, we are going to get another different results, because the brackets or the parentheses will have given 5 plus 7 preference. So you calculate them first before you multiply by 2. So we say we do bracket first, 5 plus 7, which will give us 12. 12 times 2 will give us 14. So that's just the order. Anytime you are doing some calculation, especially if it involves money, you have to know the order very well, so that you don't make mistakes with people's fund. So now we have some calculations here, like we need to calculate total. So in the first table, we are looking at them quantity. These are the quantities what we have. But at the calculations table here, we're actually looking at the figure, the money itself. How much did we make in January? How much did we make in February? Combining all their figures, their total sales figure. So we say equals to sum of. I can also decide to, if I don't know my cell reference, I can click and drag to the point I want to finish my calculation on, close my bracket, and that will be the result. I have 30 million here, so I can double click, vertical, come to the edge, double click, and we have their total sales. So what is the average sales? Average sales will be, we have a function called average, or a formula called average. Average sales, the same thing, I can click and drag from C to F. That's where I want to calculate, and I have 7 million plus. No, there's no sales. We don't have huge sales. Okay, average sales rather. So this is the January average sales. Yes, January average sales. That is addition of this plus this plus this plus this. We have 4 items here divided by 4 will give us this answer. The minimum value was the minimum sales for January. So which brand have the minimum sales? I can just say from the same thing, click and drag to my desired position, and the minimum sales here is 6 million plus, and that should be for Techno. This is it, the minimum sales. So I can double click to get the minimum sales for every other month. And lastly, I want to get the maximum sales. Like I said, we can use the auto sum. Let's try and use auto sum for this. So I come from my formula bar, I come to auto summation. Instead of clicking the sum, I want to click the max. I want to click the max. My hair. Okay. Yeah, that's the maximum. So it's going to take it to high 3, because we have other figures, like we have the total figure now, we have the average figure, we have the minimum figure now. So you have to be careful, like I said, be careful with your calculations so that you don't make mistakes, especially when it concerns fund. So the maximum, so we are doing it from C to F. The maximum is 9 million plus, and that should be for Samsung. So that's just what we need to do here. Some calculations we need to do here: average, minimum, maximum. And let's move to the next sheet, worksheet. So in this next worksheet, we want to look at the count function. We have count, count A, count if, and count ifs. So the count function will only count the column where we have figures. It won't count where we have the names, or where we have any other character that is different from numbers. So count only counts numbers. Count A counts all, both numbers and any other character that is filled in a cell or in a column. We have the count if. This count if and count ifs are when we have conditions. When we have conditions for our count. So an example will help us get that. So now the first one is count. How many records do I have? So like I said, equals to count. If I'm counting everything, so I'm counting from B4. Can I scroll down? Okay. I'm counting from B4 to C23 or C22. I have 19. So I selected everything, or if like I said, if you know the cell reference, the range, you can just type in the range B4 to C22, and you are going to see 19 records. This and the result will be different from count all. Count all, we want to count both the names and the numbers. I'm selecting everything. I clicked on OK, and count all will, at least to double it, because for count only count the records here, but count all will count both how many names we have. 19 names, 19 test score, everything is 38. Now we now have the count if function. This introduces a condition to it, so I start with my equals to sign, count if, and for my count if function, I want to count from, let me just do the test score alone. So the test score starts from C4 to C22. I want to count from C4 to C22. It picks it, comma. I want to introduce a quote to insert my condition. I'm looking for the test score that is greater than 55. So we're looking for test score that is greater than 55. I close my bracket, or I close my quote, then I close my bracket. So I want to see test score that is greater than 55, and we have 13 records that is greater than 55. Mind you, 55 will not be part of the things that will be counted. So we have 55, 50 will not be there, 55, 40, 31. So how many records will not be there? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 records, and we have another one here. And this 56 records will not be there. And if you say 19 minus 6, it's going to give us 13. And if you want to see the records that are less or equals to, so we have C4 colon C22, comma, open my quote, and I want to see records that are less or equals to 55. And you discover that I did my manual counting, and it was 6, and we have 6 here also. Now this is another challenge. I named this sheet absolute value. Now the concept here is we want to do calculations for our bonuses. Company have decided to increase staff salary by 6%, everybody's salary by 6%. So that this is the bonus. So we want to calculate our actual value. What are the bonuses this person will be getting per annum? The actual figure, not in percentage, the actual figure. And the new salary will be the addition of the old salary plus the bonus will get the new salary. Now, how do we do this? I can say equals to, I want to multiply the old salary plus the percentage. That will be D2 multiplied by the percentage is J1. I'll get my first result. So this person will be getting 20 million plus as bonus. Now if I drag it down, I'm not going to get any value for doing our automatic calculations. I drag it down, it autofills it for me, and we're not going to get the value. Now you can do 2 things here, or any other way. We can decide Okay, before I talk about that, I said, you know, this is J1. When you look at this formula says D2 times J1. This is J1. When you drag down, there is what we call cell referencing. D3, we want to look at, okay, what's the next cell at the J colon, which will be J2. And that's what we are seeing here. D3 multiplied by J2. And if you look at J2 here, there is nothing. J2. There is nothing in J2. This is J2. There is nothing here. So exercise is at 0 or no figure. That's why we don't have any results here. And if we drag further to this next point, as I will look at D4, I want to relate it to what? J3. Also, there's nothing there, then a result will not be returned. So how do we fix this? We can do the lazy way out. Come here, drag, and make every other figure 6%. Then I can come, once I drag down, we'll get value. We'll get value until to this point. And when I drag further, I think we don't get value because I've stopped here. So there's no value for J9. That's why we don't have result. We have dragged to J. That's one way of fixing it, but we have a smart way of actually fixing it. Let me undo. We have a smart way of fixing this particular problem. So now, and the way in fixing this is to make this J an absolute value, or we call it a fixed value. And how do we make it an absolute value? I come here and say equals to D2 multiplied by, you introduce the dollar sign, $J $1. $J $1 makes it absolute. That is, it makes it a fixed value. So everybody, when I drag down, everybody would be relating to J1 alone. They won't be relating in that order, incremental order. It's going to be with the fixed value J1. So once I come here, I double click, I have results for every other figure to the last point. So everybody gets their own result. And the next one is equals to, we want to multiply D2 and E2. So I just say D2, or want to add rather D2, E2. D2, E2. We have our result. So the new salary, this guy have upgraded from 34 million per annum to 36 million per annum. And every other person will have their result. Naming. We want to name so that we can have, we can calculate smartly. Smart calculations. So now we want to do these calculations. We want to find the average quantity. That's the problem here. Definitely by now you know how to calculate average. You know how to calculate number of orders that when you use your count. You know how to calculate your maximum sales. You know how to calculate your minimum sales. And you know how to calculate total. That is adding all the sales together. All the sales together. And maximum sales, what is the maximum figure here? Minimum sales, what is the minimum figure here? Average is calculating everything together, dividing it by the total number of records that we have. So now to calculate our average quantity, okay, we have quantity here. We're looking, this is the quantity column. So I can just say equals to average quantity. What's the quantity column? We have D4 colon D38 D17 D4 to D17. I close my bracket, I click on enter, and we have the average quantity, that is adding all this together, dividing it by the number of records that we have here. One, okay, I need it from 4 to 17. I think that should be like 13 records or 14 records or so. So 14 records. So we have this. Now, you have to just, now let's imagine this D colon is bigger than this. Then you have to scroll down. Let's say we have 1,000 records. You have to keep scrolling to know where it stops so that you can fill in the D. Instead of D17, maybe it's going to be D20,000. Instead of doing that, there's a smart way of doing this that will actually help. So I can do average. I can actually name that column and just calculate the average by the name. So I just say average, instead of saying D4 to D17, I will just say maybe I name it quantity. I can just say average of quantity. But I've not named my column here, so that's why I don't have the quantity. I think we're going to get a name error because I've not named it. So I don't have my quantity column yet. So how do we name a column? So the first thing first is I come to the column, I select everything on the column. I select everything on that column. Then I come to my formula bar. I come to this section, this group, define name group. I click on create from selection. That is, I want to create this column from selection, and I want to make the top row the name of my column. I have quantity here, so I check top row, and it will pick this name. It will pick the first record as the name. I'm good. So now let's calculate back our average. So I can just say average, instead of me saying average D3 to whatever. Now I'll just say average quantity, and I have my quantity here. It will have been listed among the names I have. Then I click enter. I have my result. I can do the same thing for n, and you discover that this is the name box. You discover that I have quantity inside the name box. I can do the same thing for order. Go to my formula, create from selection, use the top row. So if I want to count the number of orders that I have, I just say count. Instead of doing from B what to B what, I just go like order. I've seen it, it will be listed here. I have my order at the name box. You discover that order have now been added to it. Now any other thing we want to calculate have to do with total. So let's label our total also. Formula, create from selection. I click on OK. Then I have equals to, I want to check maximum first. Max of total. Total will have been included. That's the maximum of total, which is 15 million plus. Discover that we have total now. Equals to minimum of total. So what's the minimum of total sales? I have that. And the last one, sum. What is the sum? Because we have total sales. Sum will give us sum of total. And we have that result, which is 133 million plus sales. So here we want to look at what we call combining functions. Combining functions. The issue or the problem here is that I I have a table that looks almost okay, but it's not okay because of the salesperson colon, the name. One, they are not aligned properly, and two, the case, they have different case in terms of Benga is all around small letter, Chid is proper because it starts with capital C, no proper. Rose is uppercase, and we have them like that. And the alignment, Benga is aligned in the middle, Chid is aligned to the left, Rose is almost to the right, Tim is to the left, King is all. So we have two major issues here. So let's fix it. I want everything. So you can do it manually, but also remember when the data are very huge, you don't want to do that. And in data analysis, consistency is good. We don't want things like this. And we say we're analyzing. We want to make everything uniform. So how do we do that? First thing first is to insert what we call an helper column. An helper column. I insert an helper column. This is a column that will actually help me to fix this issue. And I think best practice is to just put it by the side. So at the side of the helper column, what do I want to do? Well, first thing first, I want to trim, and the trim function will enable this the name to align to the left. I want to trim, and I want to make it proper case, just like that of Chidi, trim proper. And so I want to do for B4. That's what I want to do for B4. I have two brackets there. I open two brackets. I have to close it with two brackets. The number of open brackets should be the same number that you use in closing the brackets. And that is the result I want to achieve. Trimming to the left, proper, being G is now capital G. And we can apply it, double click, apply it to the rest of the table, and we are good. Everything is now proper and well trimmed. Now, what's the function of this helper column? This is where we have our result. So we want to bring our result to where we have the salesperson's name. So what do we do? I click on them, I copy, Ctrl C for copy, or right click, copy. Then I come to where I want to paste it. I right click and I paste. From paste special, I want to paste value, because if I just click on paste, it's going to give me this I think I'll be having something from C, because the reference, you won't see the reference, it will move as I will naturally move. You know, I have before as I will naturally move to C, and it will be picking values from C. We don't want such situation. Ctrl Z. So let me do Ctrl Z. I have copied again, then I want to paste value. So you don't just paste, you are not pasting function, or you are not pasting formula, you are not pasting transpose, you are not pasting formatting or whatever. What you want to paste is, I want to just paste the value. I paste my value. Now I have it where I need it to be. What do I do next? I come to my helper column, I right click on it, and I delete the helper column, and everything is looking good and okay. Still on functions. Some of the functions we have the left function, right function, mid function. We want the length function. For this particular figure, I want to know the length. What is the length of this? How many characters we have here? That's what we mean by length. So, you know, you can decide to manually count. This is 3, plus 3 6 plus 3 9, the 2 hyphen making 11. But you can have so many records if you want to do it the smart way. Just say equals to len, length. Length of what? I want to get length from cell A4. What is the length of cell A4? And I have 11. That's the length. Straightforward like that. What is the length of A4? What is the length of the value we have in A4? If I should increase the value now, let me add 2 here. I think it will change to 12. And once the value keeps changing, when you shrink or expand the value. Left equals to left. Here I want to see what are the values to the left of A4. What is the value to the left of A4, comma? Now, how many values do I want to see? I want to see 3. And I just want to see 3 values to the left of A4. And I have 1, 2, 3. You see? 1, 2, 3. To the left of A4, I want to see the first 3 values. That's the meaning of the 3 that I have here. 3. What is the first 3 value in A4, left of A4? We can use the same concept for the right. I want to see the right. What is the value in A4? As in to the right of A4, I want to see the last 3 values to the right of A4, and that's what you can see here. And the last one is the mid function. I want to see what is in the middle. Here you need to be careful. I want to see what is in the mid value of A4. Now you have to state the starting point. What is the starting point in the middle of A4? You know, anything can be in the middle. I can decide to say 1 is not, 1 is to the left, 6 is to the right, and every other thing is to the middle. So if I want to see that, I can just say, okay, I want to start from value 2. That is, I want to start from 2. This is 1, 2. I want to start from value 2, and I want to end, comma, or I want to see how many values. You know, everything together is 11 values, so I want to see 9 values. I want to see 9 values, and you are going to get a result 2, 3, and to 4, 5. And if you look at the length, it will be 9 values. Like I said, this can be mid, but our mid here, I want to check the ABC. Let's definitely, we'll say the ABC is into the is the mid. So the mid value will be mid value will be of A4, comma. I want to start at value, you know, A is our starting point, and A is in position, you know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, the hyphen 5. That is where A position is, and I want to read 3 values. So I want to start from A and I want to stop at C, 3 values. I have the ABC. I have the ABC. This next function, I want to see I'm going to use my upper colon here. I want to extract the first name out of this email. You know, sometimes when I want to send email, I just say dear Gbenga, dear Tunde. So I need the first name. So because this email I have the first name and they at whatever email or mail system they are using, you have it there. So how do I extract this? How do I extract this? Okay, sorry, there was a background noise earlier. I just need to check out the background noise. from there. So one common thing here in this email address is the @ sign. So I want to first know the position of the @ sign. So what do? I want to find the @ sign. So put it in quotes from the email address, unquote it, comma. Where do you have the first email address? A9. I want to get it from A9. So the @ sign from A9 is position number 7. If I drag it down, the @ sign for any other one is at position 5, position 6. So look, Benga is 6 character, the @ sign is at the 7th character. So that's position number 7. So I want to get the first position number 7. Now, still using my helper colon, I want to now do something called, I want to look at something to the left of the @ sign. You know, we have our names. The first name is to the left of the @ sign. So what's to the left of the @ sign, left of A9, and where's our starting point? We are looking at this position, all these positions, which is C9. If I should just leave it as C9, we're not going to get our desired result. It's going to include the @ sign. So let me try it. So it's going to include Benga and the @ sign and every other name at the @ sign, because the @ sign is actually at the position number 7. So when we are looking something to the left of C9, it's not going to give us what we want. So that's not what we want. What we actually wanted is we want to see what's to the left of A9 in relationship with what is with C9 minus 1, because I don't want the @ sign. So minus 1 will remove the @ sign, and I have Benga and the rest Chidi. Going to work that way, and I think I can let me try and combine functions here. Left proper. So I'm editing there. Okay. Too many, it's not taking it. Okay, yeah. So because of the -1, so I can just make this proper. Undo. So the last guy here is, I'll just make it proper. So what do I mean to make proper? That will be D9. I want D9 to be proper, and I have it proper. Yeah. Then I can copy and come back here and paste value. So once I paste value, select all this and I delete, and nothing happens to my clean records. This next one is I have the first name and the last name, Benga Kindro, and I have a column for full name which I don't have. So how do I fix this? I use this function called concatenate. This function called concatenate. I think I want to concatenate A17, Concatenate simply means I want to combine A17, comma, open space, open, I put 2 quotes, I finish it to come out, and I want to do it with what? B17. I want to join them together. There is space between my 2 colons so that there will be space between my Benga and Akinduro. Mind you, if you don't put space here, this is the formula again. You can always pause and jot. If I put open and close, then I'm going to have Benga Akinduro without space. That's not what I want to achieve. So I put space between them, click on enter, and I'm good. And you double click, you drag down, and you have that. I don't have the intention of making a video too long, but I'll stop at this sheet. Next, I will send VLOOKUP pivot table or cleaning up data like pivot table and so on. So the next thing, what we want to do here is just to check for dates. Our dates. We have what is called today, a function called today, open bracket, close bracket. I think include our equals to, and I have today's date without the time. It's trying to give us the time, but we don't have that. That is today equals to today, open and close bracket. And we have another function called now. What's the time now? Yeah, we have the date and the time. Today doesn't have the time. Now has have the time. And hard coding means, because for now, as an example, for now, if the time changes, this column keeps changing. You change from 18 to 19, that is 11:18 to 11:19, 11:19 to 11:20, 11:20 to 21. It keeps changing. But sometimes we need our data to be hard coded. We just need the time to be fixed so that we know the exact time. Some data we just want you to let us state the exact time we worked on that particular item or what have you. So what you do there is you press your control key, control plus shift plus your, so you are not, when I put the plus sign, I'm not actually adding them. What I'm actually doing is, this is the formula hard coding, and it will give us the time. What I actually want to achieve here is I want to press control, hold down my control key, the shift key, and the semicolon key, which will give us the time. So I'm just stating the formula here. So let me clear it. So I say I hold my control key, my shift key, and my semicolon key, and I have the time hard coded. If anything changes, this 19 AM does not change. This will change. You know, this has changed from 18. This will remain constant. Okay, I hope it has been informative, and in the next class we'll talk about VLOOKUP, I think HLOOKUP, clean up data, pivot table, and so on. Thank you. Please, you can help by subscribing to our channel and commenting. For feedback is necessary. When you comment, we know what to improve if you are doing well, and what to do more to help you learn better. Thank you.